So welcome to my channel and happy new year to you again. So today I want us to look at the history of St. Stephen's Cathedral, which is along Jogoo Road in Makongeni Estate, neighboring Botella. So this church is, I think, the biggest cathedral in terms of size. The biggest Anglican cathedral in terms of size in Kenya and even Africa. I know that the headquarters of Anglican is in All Saints, but St. Stephen's Cathedral is the biggest in terms of size. And in 1978, they were known that they were the ones who played a very big part in Jomo Kenyatta's funeral, because their songs, their choir songs, are mostly African tune. So it has a very rich legacy. And even today, the church is standing strong along Jogoo Road. And I think it was 2019 when Uhuru Kenyatta went to that church and he passed his praise on how the church choir played a big role in Jomo Kenyatta funeral 1978. So this church, its history is very rich, and you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it very much. And every Sunday the church is always full to capacity, always full. And it serves most of Islands, Makongeni, Kaloleni, Botella, Shauri Moyo, etc. So it has a very large membership, and even Umoja, Kayole, etc. So St. Stephen's is among the earliest churches in Nairobi. And initially, it was just a mabati house, an iron sheets mabati structure, small structure, like the one you find in most slums. It was initially located in 1902 along Parliament Road, which was initially called Jackson Road. It was located exactly where Parliament stands today. So the history of St. Stephen's actually begins in 1902, where Parliament today stands, imagine. And then, as the city was growing, because by then the city was very small, that CBD area is where the city, Nairobi city, was. These other estates had not yet been developed. So as the city was growing and expanding, 19 years later, St. Stephen's was transplanted to Pumwani. Pumwani, where it was dedicated to St. John. So it was renamed St. John in Pumwani. So today we have St. John in Pumwani. So that's where St. Stephen was placed. So the mabati structure was moved and taken to St. John's in Pumwani, so it can serve the Eastland people who are then hired to work for the railways and the city council and the government. Because the aim of the colonialists was to Christianize Africans, so they can become more obedient to the colonial system. So St. Stephen was taken to Pumwani area to serve Ziwani, Bahati, Kaloleni, Makongeni, and Jericho estates. So the colonialists, they began to make plans to build their own cathedral along Kenyatta Avenue, which is today All Saints Cathedral. So they had this separation of blacks to worship in St. Stephen's or St. John, and then the whites to worship in All Saints. So All Saints was initially for whites. So after St. John's, they moved it to the Likoni Road, where it is presently located. Now, in those days, they planned to build a major church for Africans, because St. John's was a bit small and a bit far from the city. So they had a plan now to build a bigger church for Africans, the biggest church in Nairobi for Africans. So along Likoni Road, there was a massive plantation. Like I said earlier in my previous history of Makongeni, most of that area of Makongeni and Koleni was sisal plantation. So along Nairobi Road, there was a massive plantation that was owned by city architect called James Kerr. So colonialists, they paid him compensation for that piece of land. And they were able to lay the foundation stone for St. Stephen in 1923 along Nairobi Road. And even today, if you go to St. Stephen's, you'll find a foundation stone laid by someone called Carl. It was actually a woman who laid the foundation stone in 1923. Her name is Mrs. Ernest Carl. She was a wife of a wealthy city contractor, and her family was rich and contributed to many churches in Kenya and East Africa. So the foundation stone was laid in 1923 by the colonialists. And the St. Stephen's Church Cathedral was built in the English Gothic architectural design. Even the windows are that dormer design, granite floor, and even the ceiling is made of bungalow tile roof. So this cathedral, it had a unique design, and even the stones were made of granite blocks, and they had to use explosives to cut those stones. It was a very elaborate affair. That's why even today, the cathedral structure looks ageless. So this picture on the right here is a picture of cathedral in 1954, how it was, and then on the right is how it is today. So it has come a long way. So this cathedral, because it was located in Eastlands of Nairobi, it found a ready congregation of railway workers from Makongeni and Mudhurwa, civil servants living in Shauri Moyo, Makadara, Mudhurwa, Landimawe, and Maringo estates. So because of this population, this cathedral had the biggest population in Nairobi. And it is believed that this St. Stephen's Cathedral is among the oldest in Africa, and is the largest of its kind between Cairo and Cape Town. So this is a picture of the cathedral in 1970s. This is how it looked like. So this was just mchanga. It was just mchanga. This is how in 1970s. This is how it looked like. It has come a long way. So many independence figures. So this is how it looked today. So compare the difference, 1970s and today. So notice that these bricks, the walls, they have survived since 1930s. They have survived because it was very strongly built. So many independence heroes, because like I said that many population were members of this church, many Africans. So many, even in the same way, many of the early politicians like Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Charles Rubia, who was the first mayor of Nairobi, Tom Mboya, and this trade union movement, they found their base at St. Stephen's. That's why even today, St. Stephen's is the center for Kotu prayers. This was started by Tom Mboya. Yeah. That's the inner part. I know it's not clear. That's the inner part of St. Stephen's. So Tom Mboya found a ready congregation there, and the church is even today the headquarters for Kotu prayers. So before Labor Day, Akina Tuoli always go to pray there. And then also St. Stephen's as one of the most robust choirs in the country. So the church choir was founded in 1956 by Professor George Senoga Zake, who was among the 4 people who created the Kenya national anthem. Yeah, so this choir has a very rich legacy. And this choir became a formidable force in Kenyan Africa. because it focused mostly on African tunes and dances. So 1978, like you have seen, this choir it played a very major part during the funeral service of Jomo Kenyatta. It played a very big part. Darius Mbella was among the choir masters also in the 60s. And Mbella became a minister in the Moi government. So St. Stephen's Choir has a very rich legacy. And even today it is known as one of the best choirs in Africa. And then the choir uses a piano which was imported from South Africa 96 years ago. It is called Old Bansal and Sons Piano. It's a very big organ, and even today it is in good condition. So that church is very well established. So Mary Atieno also, who is a gospel musician, who is blind, even her, she was one of the choir members there, and she began her career, her calling in that church. So the church actually has a good legacy. So that's the brief history of St. Stephen's Choir and St. Stephen's Church Cathedral, which even me, I've been a member there since I was a child, and I'm proud of that church and that legacy. So if you like this video, you can even check the previous one we did on the history of Makongeni Estate, because St. Stephen's is just located in Makongeni along Likoni Road. So I think next week I'll begin on the skeptical topics. This channel was created for skeptical analysis of issues affecting the society. So next time I shall look at the issue of child abuse and how it is being expanded by the elites, and how celebrities are abusing their children and sexualizing them. So we shall look at that bad trend that is starting to take root. So otherwise, thank you very much for your audience, and subscribe to this channel and share it, and may God bless you.